Put on the Oscar music? Is that what they're doing right
Fuck the Oscars, dude. Fuck celebrities. Fuck politicians. Love yourself. Take care of each other. Take personal responsibility for your health. Raise the vibration of yourself and the planet, because shit is separating, whether you like it or not. And if you want to choose hate and fear and division instead of coming together and love and higher vibrations and no fear and happiness, it's your choice. I'm choosing love, baby. Peace. The Bridge Podcast. I'm Sean Nixon.
Jonathan Matthew.
How we doing today, man?
Things are good, man.
Springtime, baby.
Things are good.
It's a beautiful...
Dude, it's amazing out today, yeah.
It's amazing every day. All right? So we're kicking off probably a 4-part, 2-week series of definitions. Etymology is a big deal. When you're saying words are just noises that we make with our mouth that express thoughts and symbols that mean certain things. So definitions and context and intent matters all the time.
All the time.
In all your words. So today we're breaking down the 4 layers of health and fitness that we did in episode 1, and that all of our philosophy on life and health and fitness revolve around. Your human experience is based upon 4 layers, all right? Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. They're in the proper order for a reason, you'll see, but it kind of doesn't matter because they're all connected.
You don't say.
All right? Everything is connected. Diet is the foundation of all these layers. All right?
You mean like the South Beach diet, Sean?
Diet is the foundation of all these layers, and I am not talking about going on a diet. I'm not talking about the keto diet, the South Beach diet, the Herbalife diet.
But intermittent fasting is good, though, right?
Sometimes, maybe, and it depends.
Different episode.
Different episode. That's another thing. Too much hype and not enough hype for fasting. It's a good tool to use.
It just gets...
it's not a magical tool.
It's how I feel about tofu. Like, tofu used to be like its own food, but like it got like commandeered by like
now it's
anti-meat
burgers, and it's like, slow down.
it's its own like thing. Like,
don't fry the soy.
If you ever had like really good tofu, like prepared
done properly,
like done like how it's supposed to, not like
mashed into nonsense,
shaped into a turkey, like
please,
very different.
Slow down with the tofurkey. Anyway, it's giving everybody a bad name, and that's the point. That is the point.
The words, the definitions, the ideas, the context, perception of what it means.
Word. There's nothing wrong with a soybean or tofu. But once it's GMO and fried in nonsense and packaged in preservatives and bullshit...
Well, then you just destroyed the whole beauty of the thing in the first place.
Destroyed the beauty of the words. All right? So diet is the foundation of all the layers. We're not talking about going on a diet or only what you eat. We're talking about the Latin root word dieta, which means way of life, which is your lifestyle, which is everything you consume. So not only food, water, drugs, and supplements, but everything you read, watch, click on, all media consumption, your hair, skin, nail, and teeth products, that goes into your skin as well. The people you're around, the things you see, your experiences.
The energy that's emitting around you, it's all being taken in, taken up.
And you're consuming it. So that is your diet or your lifestyle. Okay? So let's break it down from the top. Physical. All right? Physical movement is nice. All right? But the Latin translation, the etymology of the word, is physica. Okay? And physica means the study of nature. Surprise, surprise, we are nature. Okay? So the way we move is nature. We are a part of nature. It also refers to medicinal movement, medicinal physical movement, as opposed to surgical, which means you can save your life and fix yourself with movement and diet and lifestyle as opposed to surgery and pills most of the time. Doctors have saved millions and millions of lives, but the fact that 80% of people are on pills, 60% of people are overweight or obese, people ain't moving right, people ain't eating right, thinking right.
80% of people give up on their health goals by the month in.
Not good.
Not good. And then we're all complaining about healthcare too at the same
When
time.
they want to throw surgery and pills at you before they recommend, hey, how are you eating? How are you feeling? What are you drinking? What are you sleeping? What are you eating? How's your movement? That's when you're done fucked up.
Yeah, exercise is medicine.
Food is medicine and exercise is medicine. That is the point. And that is literally the definition of the motherfucking word.
Physical.
Physical. Okay? So if you change your physical movement, you can change your well-being and your lifestyle. All right? So that's why that starts first. If you want to see like mental progress when you're coaching somebody and you're trying to change their mental and emotional mood, you get them moving a little bit better, eating a little bit better, they look a little bit better. They're like, hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, yo, hey.
Doing pretty good over there. Look at me. We dropped fucking 4 pounds now.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Coach Murph. Coach Murph was like 300 pounds, and we seen him. He was like, "Oh," somebody was like, "Oh shit." He goes, "Yeah, I'm off bread now. I lost 7 pounds." 7 pounds.
That's amazing.
It's like a deck chair falling off the Titanic. Nobody fucking noticed. Shout out to Coach Murph, one of the greatest guys ever. All right, so but moving on. Mental, the next layer. They're layers because they stack on top of each other, but they're equally as important, and they flow.
They go together.
They go together.
Well, you'll see that how everything's connected, not in our definition, but even in the roots of the definitions themselves, which is like, that's not even us. That's just a bunch of people from ancient times who created the words, you know?
Precisely. So mental in Latin is mens.
It's mento.
Mental, man. Mens, which means the mind, or to think of the soul, okay? So everything starts in the mind is the key there. So any movement, any emotion, any spiritual connection is all in the mind, all right? That's all you got, you know? You got energy centers, and you got a nervous system, and you got a brain.
Yeah.
The rest is just same thing a chimpanzee has. Bones and muscles and skin
Exactly.
and tissue.
Just tissue.
Tissue is one thing.
Tissue.
But the nervous system and the energy centers and the consciousness in the brain, which is an abstract concept, but...
Yeah, and it's often referred, like you bring all those things up, the nervous, the spinal cord, the brain, it's pretty much makes an antenna, right? If you see it. I've seen
does.
a really great book, Yoga of the Subtle Body, has a really cool map of the lotus flower being like because if you ever know lotus, it's a water plant, right?
Sure
so the root
is.
is like really long. It goes down, and it kind of curves and bends just the same way the spine does. You talk about the crown chakra or that top of the head there.
Hell yeah.
That's where the lotus pops up.
Makes so much sense to me. That's kind of like the physical practice of yoga is just bending your body into different antenna shapes to bring in energy,
right?
Move energy.
Unkink the wires.
And utilize energy because everything is energy. Okay.
If you talk about flow, which we'll get into, when we talk about emotional, but then we talked about the last episode, the hose, right? If your body's like that too, can that water flow through you?
Literally. And we're talking about energy moving up the chakras, energy moving through the meridian systems, and just energy, if you're not into all that, just energy moving throughout the fascia, which fascia
just
is
electrical energy from your nervous system. That's all it is, right?
The nerves are bundled along the fascia, which is soft connective tissue that connects everything in the body.
Yeah, like for you to move that hand, like there's a cascade of just triggers, like a domino. They're just not dominoes. I guess dominoes. Yeah. All the way over and over and over and over and over again.
All the way. So it's not just bones and muscles. There's fascia and there's energy. All right. So the thing with mental health and fitness is you want to shift to a positive mindset and a positive outlook. So victor over victim mentality, abundance over scarcity, and that is your choice. No matter what, and we always bring up Viktor Frankl, whatever is going on in the outside world has nothing to do with you. External circumstances, things people do and say, and things that happen to you, you can't change, but you can always change your response and your attitude to it, and that is a practice. That is easier said than done. But that is the name of the game, is to think that only good things happen, and things happen for you, not to you.
Yeah, like you said, that's it's not easy, but that's the game.
Name
so
of the game.
You can either complain and bitch about it or blame other things about it, but the truth is the truth no matter what.
You can be paranoid and think everybody's conspiring against you, or you can be pronoid and think the universe and everything is conspiring for you. I'm on a winning streak, baby.
Perspective shift.
All I do is win. Only good things happen to me.
And if you're not used to that, like that shift may seem like cheesy and corny at first. But, it's like
I'm winning.
It's the same thing as anything. Like, it feels weird when you first ride a bike. It's like, I'm using tricycles. But, like, after a while, you just get used to riding a regular bike, right?
And that's where it all ties in. So if you've ever exercised and you get a new exercise, and as a coach, I'm like, oh, how did it feel? They're like, oh, it's good, but it's just weird because it's new.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
The first time I remember one of the first times I started bench pressing, bar got stuck on my chest. It might have been like 50 pounds stuck on my chest.
Oh, yeah.
Me weighing like 90 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
No one was around, so I had to like do that. Luckily, I was like so weak, so it was easy to
toss to the side or roll down.
I did like the shimmy down.
Shimmy down.
So a little bit of both. Like come
Nice.
like in your kayak.
Yes.
One of those things. Yeah, that's what I did.
Not fun. And here we are.
And here we are.
Growing.
Teaching people how to bench
getting
press.
better, right? Seriously, but that's how you learn. Somebody that read it in a book and never got pinned.
Yeah, you can't know it until you know it.
Until you do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So everything starts in the mind, and it's your choice to make that shift.
Yeah.
Every single thing. If you think you're happy or you think you're sad, that was your choice.
Yeah.
And that's a fucked up thing to say if you don't get it. But when you get it, you're going to come back and you're going to be like, thank you, guys.
And then we talk about, the mind too, and the idea of what thinking is or what thoughts are, and we just talked about the mind or the brain, right? The center of where the mind exists, right, is like an antenna, and the thoughts are really just what's being picked up. We think a lot of them are generated, which some of them can be generated from, but a lot of them are just being picked up from.
That's it.
The ether, who knows where, right?
Literally, that's what
it doesn't really matter where they get picked up from.
Tesla wrote about. You can look at Rupert Sheldrake's work of morphic resonance and collective consciousness, and just ideas are kind of out there. And we've all had epiphanies and aha moments. Yep. And you ask any artist, where did that song come from? It was either a dream or it just came to me.
Albert Einstein, the guy who wrote the periodic table, I'm sorry forgetting his name, but how many scientists, people who were, in the Western sense of science, had inspirational moments come to them when they were dreaming or asleep or passed out on a train.
Boom. And just came to them. Same thing, my man. Isaac Newton was taking a nap under the motherfucking tree. And then he was like, shit, it's in motion around here.
Was he taking a nap or was he meditating, Sean? Who really knows?
Not the same thing, but who knows?
Who knows?
You're damn right.
Maybe someone saw him and was like, that dude's napping. But he's over there just like lining up his chakras and shit.
No, you're sleeping. I'm wide awake, motherfucker. That's the difference.
Apple to the face.
Yeah. Oh, he's sleeping. No, I'm awake. You're sleeping. You're walking around wearing your skin as pajamas in this motherfucker. And I'm fucking wide awake. Merely
life is but a dream, they say.
That's it. I mean, once again, I don't want to go a week without quoting Rumi.
I was just about to put the Rumi.
Pull it up. What's the actual quote? Because he's like, only a fool takes seriously.
This place is a dream. Only a sleeper considers it real. Then death comes like dawn, and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief.
What you thought was your grief is a goddamn joke when you know the game, when you know you're going to live forever.
How many times have, on Plant Medicine Journeys, meditations, woken up and laughed at that?
Every time.
You thought was your grief.
Every time. You're just laughing at, and then you're in this dimension and you're all caught up in your negative thoughts and negative emotions. You're, oh my God.
The last one I remember having this thing feeling like, I don't even really want any of that. Like all the things that in my consciousness, wherever reality, just thinking that I need and I want, I'm like, I don't want any of that.
Nah, all that shit was complaining about. I'm great. I'm whole and complete as I am.
Things are good.
And that's the thing. When you're already complete, you can get whatever you want after that.
Yeah, you already have it.
Because you already got it.
It's just
That's what Dispenza says. He goes, he's like, my shit works 100% of the time. Because you either get what you want or you realize that's not even what you wanted and you're content with who you are anyway. So 100% of the time.
That's 100% of the time.
It works because you're winning in here. And it's all about winning. All right. So the next layer of health and fitness and the human experience is emotional. Okay? We've already explained that emotion is energy in motion. And we thought we were slick for making that up. But guess what? We look up the Latin root word, etymology of the word, and in Latin, emotion means immovere, which is to move out. Okay?
To agitate, to stir up, to...
moving and flowing through. Right? Because we already talked about, if you suppress and hold on to emotions, they fuck you up. All right? You want to integrate and process your emotions healthily and authentically. Okay? You don't mute your emotions, you transmute them.
Let the water flow.
Let the water flow. You alchemize seemingly negative energy. Stuff can't be created nor destroyed. It can just change forms.
Exactly.
So that's up to you to recognize, take a deep breath, and use that energy.
Yeah, so if you think you're getting rid of something by ignoring it, you really just
building it up,
and you're letting it unconsciously change into whatever it's going to do without your consent, or essentially, right?
And then it stores up in the body. No good. That's when you'll see physiological changes coming from emotion. Okay.
So now we're already connected right here. The body responds to the emotions. The mind responds to the emotions.
Boom.
Right.
So all three layers so far are exactly connected. Not only us making up a bunch of woo-woo hippie fucking nonsense,
but by the very definitions of the people who created them.
Of the people that created them that you believe in school. And we're here to teach you the real root word that they don't teach you in school and the actual meaning of things, okay? So that's where disease comes from. Buildup of too many things. Too much sugar, too much stress, too much this, too much that.
Yeah, Ayurveda, right? It's about getting rid of, letting go of, right?
Disease is over-accumulation of whatever.
Whereas, Western medicines, we accumulate you with stuff.
And then you want to add more stuff.
To
more pills,
block out that stuff. To block out that
add
stuff.
to cart, pop another pill.
Ooh.
Doesn't always work like that.
More spices in the pot doesn't meet the flavor. It's like when you're gotten into painting at all, very much.
Not as much as I should.
So you don't have to, but like even basic stuff, like you ever blend a color together? Yeah, exactly, right.
More
so you take like
doo-doo brown.
Exactly, everything turns to doo-doo brown if you just blend everything together. It's a weird gray black, right? So like too much, right? Well, you lose the color, you'll lose the image, you'll lose the perception.
Do less. And I figured out what the hissing is on the mic. It's the goddamn computer.
The fan.
Just fanning away. That's how good the fucking mics are.
That's how hot my computer is.
Hot, baby. Well, it's fucking hot in here because we're cooking up a storm. All right? So, emotions, let them flow. Turn them into positive energy. Don't store them and let them fucking eat you up, and it expresses itself as negative energy. Okay? So now we have physical, mental, emotional, and now we're at the spiritual layer of health and fitness and the human experience.
This one's probably the least understood and most subjective and the most like, I don't have a solid definition of because...
And it's a word that turns people off because some people think spirituality is religion and some people hate religion. And I'm here to tell you that spirituality does not equal religion unless you are religious. As long as you're not hating anybody else and their beliefs and religions and who they are by how they look instead of the content of their character and what's in their heart, have whatever religion you want as your spiritual connection.
Yeah, religion is a man-made construct. It's an idea,
Boom.
Right?
But if you think you're an atheist, you can still have a spiritual connection with nature. Spirituality is doing the right thing no matter what.
Yeah, I'm going to just say you have a spiritual connection whether you're conscious of it or not.
Whether you give a fuck or not.
Yeah.
You do.
You do.
So you might as well be aware of it.
Yeah, you might as well... And when you can become aware of it, and we'll get into the definition to see
more
how they're
fun starts
connected
happening.
to all the other stuff that you're worried about. You're worried about your emotions, your thoughts, your body. Well, if you start at the root of why you're here, right? The root. You like that?
Boom.
Root words, etymology.
That's why
Here we
it's
go.
at the bottom.
Oh!
It's beautiful.
That's
all
perfect.
Right? So, spirit is your connection with nature and each other and everything because everything is connected. Okay? The Latin that we're going off of, etymology root word, is spiritus. Okay, spiritus, which means of breathing, the breath of God and breath of life.
So that's not something you usually think of. Spirituality, people go right to God. When they say spirituality,
you don't have to.
We're talking about breath here, right? That's the Latin root word
if you're
of
breathing. You're alive and you have spirit. Okay, because if you don't think what changes when you get emotional? You're breathing. Yeah. If you are conscious of your breathing. And then what can you use to manipulate a mental mind state or emotion or a mental feeling? You're breathing.
What changes your physiological response? Your
breathing. And if you think you can exercise, run a sprint, run a marathon, or lift heavy weights without breathing properly, you've come to the wrong channel, fellas.
Yikes.
Ladies and gentlemen, because breathing is everything that is your life force. And not coincidentally, this is your Latin, Western, white people nonsense. But prana means breath, life force of energy, life force energy.
Yes, your that's Hinduism, Vedic yoga, pranayama, breath practice is the fourth limb of yoga, one of the main limbs to get to, not the main, but one of the most important ones to get to.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. Ancient Chinese medicine, your qi is your breath force energy as well.
You don't say.
So now everybody's on the same
people,
page.
brown people.
And Chinese people. Remember Rush Hour 2? Yeah.
Or Chris Tucker.
I have a dream that black people and white people and even Chinese people can gamble together without the oppression of different colored chips.
That's amazing. What a great movie.
Oh.
Jackie Chan was like
amazing.
Like when I was a kid, like he was like making his heyday of movies.
Amazing.
Like Shanghai Noon and all that stuff, dude.
Perfect.
It's great.
Combination with Chris Tucker. Fucking hilarious. So the point is, everything is connected. through your breath. That's how you know you're alive. If you breathe.
That's literally, yeah. If you're not breathing, right? When you talk about, when you use CPR, it's like you check if they're breathing, if they're alive.
Boom.
Right?
If your heart's beating and you're breathing, you're alive. All right?
And how does that relate to now what, the spiritual, in terms of now getting onto the woo, but getting into the deeper end, I guess, of the pool, right? In terms of spirit, 'cause we talk about breath, but how does that relate to someone's spiritual practice, right? For example?
Well, so that's the thing. So practices and spiritual practices is cultivating a relationship with yourself and the universe. All right? So once again, knowing thyself. Yeah. That's what the episodes about. We just did, that's what we've been talking about. So not only is spiritual practices meditation, where you're following and focusing your breath, or breath work, breathing exercises, where you're pumping your breath to push that life force energy up the spinal column to the pineal and exploding yourself with DMT and being one with the universe. But spiritual practices is forgiveness, kindness, gratitude,
compassion,
empathy, compassion. These are practices that you practice every single day. To be a compassionate person, to be an empathetic person, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to love yourself, to love others. These are spiritual practices. You practice how you're going to play. You practice how you're going to be. You need to practice everything 10,000 times to be good at it. No matter whether it's fucking ping pong, playing the guitar, doing your homework, or breathing.
Yeah, and talk about your relationship to your experience. That's all. We want to talk about the theory of relativity, how things relate to each other, right? And gravity and all that stuff in terms of physics sense. But we talk about relationships. Everything is just relative to where you are physically.
Boom.
Everything's relative to your perception mentally and emotionally, right?
Boom. So that's what we're saying. If you are so left-brain, linear, math, engineering, logical thinking that you need an explanation to everything, E equals MC squared. Energy and matter are on the same equal playing field at this point. So that means everything is energy. Everything is a vibration, and you control that by breathing. Do you think it's a coincidence? You ever hear someone Om chanting, and it creates a vibration in the vagal nerve?
Yeah.
Om.
Mm-hmm.
Om. That vibration is the same vibration as the universe. And do you think it's a coincidence that OHM is the sign for electricity?
Yes.
Goddamn coincidences everywhere.
You said it.
Coincidences everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So breathing is the key to life. And that connects you to everything because you are nature. And that's how you control your emotions, is you control your breathing. And that's how you control mental thoughts, and that's how you control your physical movement. Is because, like I said, breathing for sprinting and lifting weights is the first thing that I teach.
Gotta know how to breathe.
You gotta know how to breathe.
And how many people, I've said probably like 100% of people come to me that have zero experience.
And they're just breathing their neck, chest, and lungs.
In different ways, right? Holding breath, breathing in a proper timing, and tension in necessary spots, not using the diaphragm. There's lots of parts.
So once again, if you want to go the scientific route, deeper, slower, longer inhales and forceful diaphragmatic exhales will control whether you're using the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah. If you're hyperventilating, you're stimulating sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight and go, go, go in adrenal glands. If we're taking longer, slower breaths that you're aware, conscious of, and slowing down, it can stimulate parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest and recover. So that's our yin and our yang in the two branches of the nervous system. So if you only care about big butts and big arms and gains in the gym, all kinds of gains, then you better learn how to breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe talk about now relating to the physical. Everyone's obsessed with reversing aging. Like that's the biggest thing in science, reversing aging. And the people who have, we talk about telomeres and all that stuff, and the cell death, and the biological age of the body, right? Yep. The people who have the best cardiorespiratory, the best breathers, the people who have greatest lung function are the ones who end up slowing down that aging process.
Big time. You ever seen the
cellular respiration?
Huh? You ever seen breatharians that just survive on breath?
No.
The one dude is like at least in his 60s or 70s and looks better than me.
Breathes?
Just breathes air. And remember at one time I was like, when I used to do like long fasts, if you're fasting but doing breathing exercises and just having water, air, and sunlight instead of food, you're getting plenty of energy.
Ooh, everything's vibration.
Plenty of energy.
Sunlight is energy.
That's the thing. Because it's like if you're eating plants, they've already absorbed
the sun
energy.
That's all you're getting, really, essentially.
And it's like, if you remember chlorophyll from science class, you already know this shit. Chlorophyll?
Chlorophyll?
More like borophyll.
Oh, nice.
So that's the thing. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual all work together. And diet, your lifestyle, is the foundation of all these things. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You are a spiritual light being of infinite power and potential that has control over all these things. And we're going to live forever. It's fucking beautiful.
Live forever.
Not this body, though. That's why it's scary.
Find out who you are, then you'll know if you live forever or not, right?
And once you know that it's we...
When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. And if you know, you know. What else you got on spiritual? I don't know what time it is because we don't have a clock. What was that note that you were supposed to say on spiritual? Because it was a
so, like my... this is actually an idea I had when the very first time, I think I might have done... LSD after college.
Entheogens.
Yeah. And which was like in a major point in time in my depression, that flipped my brain over. Like, I don't like to say that like LSD or mushrooms or ayahuasca or any of this stuff helped me. It opened me up to it opens
the door. You got to walk through it.
Exactly.
With your practice.
Exactly.
You can do all the fucking
mushrooms. I don't want to attribute externally to the thing. No. It allows me to open up internally.
Yes.
But when I wanted to start helping and giving back, I had the idea for this thing, related to inspiration, inspire and expire. I just did a post on my Instagram. Follow conscious content. A little product plug. Inspire means a couple different things, and a lot of us think of like inspirational quotes, right? Inspire means to uplift, and means to. What does that actually mean, right? Inspire is actually physically not just a woo definition, like a Merriam-Webster definition for breathing or breathing in, right? So we inspire.
Inspiration, respiration.
And then within the word inspire, inspiration, spirit is in there. Spirit is in there, right?
Boom.
There's not a coincidence there. We didn't know. If you didn't know, which most people didn't know, spiritus means a breathing of life, right?
If you don't know, now you know.
So now inspiration is connected to spiritual, connected to breath, right?
It's connected to everything.
And then we talk about the inverse of that, right? Expire, right? Expire we think means to go bad, but expire also means
you're done for.
To come to an end, right? But it also means to exhale out of the lungs. Exhale. So we're talking about inspiration, your spiritual practice, but also meaning a divine, idea that comes to you of revelation. It's connected to your breath.
Because that's where we're getting into these definitions down the road that get a little more
heavy duty.
God and the universe is just everything connected, and then there's that masculine, feminine energy, that duality of the yin yang that expresses itself in all things.
Yeah. So like on that deeper spiritual level, every time you inhale, you are inspiring. So every time you practice your breath, focus on your breath, understand how important your breath is to spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. That's inspiration right there. Just that understanding in and of itself is inspiration.
And so here's a quick definition to piggyback off of that, because we've talked about it before. Motivation, there's move within that word. So motivation, we talked about before, is temporary spark that gets you feeling good, to get you moving for the day. An inspirational quote, a motivational quote, a video, a song, gets you moving, right? But inspiration is longer, more sustainable. You're on your path, living your purpose. Within. You're living your purpose, and it comes from within. To inspire.
You're just inspired.
I'm always inspiring, motherfucker. That's what I'm here
for,
baby.
Look at you.
You're either going to be intimidated or inspired, and the choice is yours, all right? Because we're just here to help.
And the price is right.
And the price is free.
The choice is yours. The price is right.
The price is wrong,
Get Drew Carey on the show.
That's the thing, man. We don't need no Drew Carey. We're here, baby. And we're saving lives. Because that's the thing. When you know that there's nothing to fear. Because what is fear? We talk about fear. We'll break down fear on another episode. Right? But any fear of spiders, fear of heights, fear of this, fear of that, fear of shame, fear of public speaking, oh my God, is just a fear of death.
That's all it is.
But when you know you're going to live forever, because you're a spiritual light being having a human experience, and your ego and your body are going to die, but you, who you really are, is never going to die, then you have nothing to fear.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a super bridge. You ever seen
Rainbow Bridge?
Rainbow. Oh, we're talking about Rainbow,
like Rainbow Road?
Rainbow Road. We're about to Rainbow Road this. I call Toad. You were talking about all fear is fear of death, right? And we talked about expire, breathing out, coming to an end as the part of the death, right? With the breath practice, right? Inspiration and then expiration. That's your way of understanding life, the inspiration, right? To being breathed into, right?
Like an infinity sign of breathing in
and then
through
expire.
life.
That's actually how I do my breath.
Death.
I imagine an infinity sign when I do it. I don't. Some people do up and down, but if it's a cyclical, it never ends, right? There's no top and then bottom. It's just going, right? So there's no.
If it's in and out, and you think you're gonna die, it's not as inspirational as if you think it's cyclical and it goes on forever. Because where's the beginning and the end of a circle, or the beginning of an end of an infinity sign?
You tell me, man. You tell me.
There's no beginning. There's no end. You can talk about the Big Bang, but then there's going to be another Big Bang, and what was before that? So it doesn't fucking matter what you want to call it. It fucking goes on
just
for
what
forever.
it is, right?
It is what it is.
So understanding death, the expiration, the breathing out, is understanding your fears. And understanding your fears is how you overcome them.
And that's how you overcome them. Because, once again, the powers that be, the only tool they have to control the population and to harm you is fear. So fear through politics, fear through media, but it's your choice to consume that. And even if you do, I mean, that's why, you ever heard of Denzel Washington? They were like, if you watch the news, you're misinformed. But if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. So you got to watch, but be aware of the matrix and be above it. Don't let that seep in, their bumness and their fear going on you.
Yeah.
When you see above the game and above the matrix and know that there's really nothing to fear and God always wins and love always wins and we're going to live forever, then you don't have to play their low vibration games of fear and hate and shame and guilt and blame and the other side is wrong and other skin colors are wrong and other religions and genders are wrong. No. We're all connected. We all need each other. So start loving yourself, taking personal responsibility for your shit, and raise the vibration and consciousness of everybody, which starts with yourself.
Always.
All right.
All I can do for you is work on myself. All you can do for me is work on yourself.
And I'm doing it, man. And that's the thing. And that's all we can tell people to do is take personal responsibility, self-awareness, know yourself, work on yourself. Yeah. All right? Fix your shit.
Fix your shit.
Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual shit that you got built up. Because here's the thing. No matter what your goal is, and we've gone over this when we broke down all the goals, like for those case studies of hypothetical clients, athletes, people that we help. Some people come in and they're like, I don't give a shit about no spiritual, emotional, hippie nonsense. I got a tough mindset. I want to fucking just get physical change. I want to lose fat and build muscle and play sports performance.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic. We'll get to the other stuff as necessary because it all...
You can't get to one without impacting the other, right?
Without impacting the other. And we don't have to shove it into anybody's face like, you need to meditate on day one. But we get to it.
Yeah.
We get to practices.
Maybe we get you meditating without even realizing you're meditating.
The thing.
Right? So
done that.
Because again, we're talking about this whole series we're doing is about language and the perception. You say meditate, I immediately picture some guy with a man bun, being like, hey, like everything's love.
Trying to bang everybody in yoga class.
Yeah, and I was a Vietnam vet, and you're trying to tell me how to meditate and tell me that fear is not real, but I've done feel it,
Right.
But the word meditate, when you understand that detached from the word and the idea and what perceptions there are, right?
What is the definition of meditate?
This is interesting.
To meditate. Because I think it's like to, like as a verb, people are like, all right, I'm going to meditate on it. So instead of thinking no thoughts, you're singularly focused on one thought or concept or breath or mantra or even yantra.
So meditate actually means of continuous calm thought upon a subject.
That's it. That's what I was trying to say.
Or just to plan, devise, plan, or rehearse.
That's it.
Right. So when you meditate on an idea, right, that you're just practicing the planning and rehearsing it over
getting out of your own way instead of letting the voices in your head argue
and
listen to that nonsense, all right? Because once again, PSA, Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. It's your choice to feed that thought energy and believe it or not.
And I would say, like, on a simpler level than that, like, meditation is just a practice of surrender.
Boom.
You know, when you were just talking about surrender, the idea of it from somebody who was like a gruff, very anti.
When you learn to let go, letting go and forgiveness are two of the biggest practices there could possibly be. It saved my life.
Yeah.
Saved my life. Letting go, bro. And you're like, how the fuck does that happen? Dude, I was carrying the past on my back and just rolling the boulder up the hill.
I wonder why everybody's got low back pain.
Dude,
all the shit
but that's literally where holding on to your past gets stored. You know, anger gets stored in the liver. Worry gets stored in the chest.
Yeah.
So when you worry too much, those type of people get breast cancer and stuff like that. You get cirrhosis of the liver when you are too angry. What do you think alcohol makes you do? It makes you angry because it fucks up your liver. Low back is when you fucking are holding on to the weight of the world and holding on to your past like it's a prison sentence instead of life lessons. And those lessons are going to keep on coming back. Until you done learned it.
They're for you, right? They're for you. And that's hard to say.
Is for you.
Because there's
horrific shit happens. I've been there.
That's why we have each other to help each other up through these, right? It's not because you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to.
That's the thing. They're trying to divide and conquer, but we're in this together. Doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah, you can still be an individual, have your own identity.
That's the beauty of life.
But be together. You know.
That is the beauty of everything. Could you imagine if only white people were in charge of music and food? I would have fucking blasted myself by now. It's fucking disgusting.
What would all the white kids listen to? If there was only white.
Dude, we'd be in fucking hot dogs and hamburger helper, fucking doing the Irish jig and fucking country music and a banjo in this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? We need each other.
You need that.
And cultural individual differences are what makes the game great. If you're God and you're the universe and you're Mother Nature and you're everything, you can't have a cookie. You can't have a high five. You can't have a hug. You can't, you know what I'm saying? There's no duality of dark and light and hot and cold and masculine and feminine at that point if you're just everything.
You can't go up if you're not down. You can't go down, right?
That's the thing.
Roller coasters.
And so you got to flow with it. And that's everything because everything is connected. And that's why it's the Bridge Podcast.
That's Bridge.
Connected, all right. So what else we got? Should we wrap this bitch up?
Wrap it up, maybe?
Wrap it up.
Put on the Oscar music? Is that what they're doing right
now? Fuck the Oscars, dude. Fuck celebrities. Fuck politicians. Love yourself. Take care of each other. Take personal responsibility for your health. Raise the vibration of yourself and the planet because shit is separating, whether you like it or not. And if you want to choose hate and fear and division instead of coming together and love and higher vibrations and no fear and happiness, it's your choice. I'm choosing love, baby. Peace.